the keys are to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from offseason to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. Well, that was a tough loss, Alex, to the division Rams. The Rams got it done 20-17.
Accurate.
But the 49ers had themselves one heck of a season. They were able to play really tough all game, all season. And in fact, had a 17-7 lead in that game. I thought, they look pretty good there for a minute.
100%. It did look really good there for a little bit of time there, especially when you came out. You drove down the field at the end of half and you put up the points you did, and you got the ball coming out, and it's like, all right, we'll just score a touchdown, get something on the board. They did that early. They get up 17-7, and it was just going to come down to, hey, a stop here. You get a stop. You don't let them score some points, and I feel really, really good about what this team could potentially do. Momentum's in your favor and on your side, and you just didn't make enough plays in the second half. I mean, it really comes down to it. We talked about this all week, right? The big thing was going to be being able to run the football, controlling the clock, time of possession. All those things are going to factor in and matter. Rams have an 18-play drive in the first half, have 14, third down conversions, dominating the time of possession. And it comes back and hurts this team a little bit because, your offense was off the field for a while, didn't really get into rhythm. They were able to do some stuff early in this game and in the third quarter, and you just didn't take enough advantage. You didn't take enough of an advantage when you had opportunities and chances. And then some bonehead plays from guys. The Jimmy Ward late hit ends up hurting. Jaquiski Tartt with a drop pick. You have Jimmy early in the game missing Kittle when he's wide open down the seam on a busted coverage from the Rams. Not to mention the taunting call. That taunting call is a backbreaker on that one drive because they had nothing going. They pick up a free 15 yards on top of that, and then as well as a couple of delay of games that looked like they should have been called, or at least illegal motions. There was one with 2 seconds left. They got guys going in motion for the Rams, getting set at after 1 second, the clock going to 0, and them snapping the ball. There were a couple of things in this game that just didn't help San Francisco, and then they didn't help themselves. And when you don't help yourselves and you're hurting yourself, on top of some other things not going your way and not some bounces not going in your favor, makes it really tough to keep yourself competitive. And somehow, some way, despite that, with momentum not in their favor and the Rams driving down the field late, the Niners defense was able to buckle up enough to force a field goal and at least give yourself a chance.
I'm not going to say anything negative about the Niners. I'm really not.
No, there's nothing.
The 49ers played a good football game. I thought both teams left plays on the field. That's
Absolutely.
What happens when you play in these high-pressure moments, whether it was Skodernick with the drop ball or Cooper Kupp with the drop ball, Jimmy Garoppolo missing George Kittle. These plays happen in games, and it's a culmination of things. You're not going to put it on one person or one single moment that caused you to lose the football game. When it came down to it, on the day today, the 49ers weren't able to do enough to beat the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams were better today. They walked away with the win. And I think that the Niners, learned a lot during this season. But I think we got to keep in perspective what this season was. The fact that we had all the ups and downs, from 3-5 all the way, to knocking off, 3 straight 12-win football teams. Was the first time that's ever happened in NFL history.
Sure.
The team came together, they rallied together, and it's unfortunate that they lost. We can criticize Kyle's play calling. We could criticize Jimmy Garoppolo. We could say Jaquiski Tartt had to make that interception. We could blame the refs for not calling those penalties. But when it comes down to it, there were plays that need to be made, and guys didn't make those today. But let's praise the efforts that were made. Deebo Samuel playing like the man that Deebo Samuel is. Brandon Ayuk showing more flashes again, showing the improvement there. George Kittle making the big time touchdown catch. Trent Williams gutting it out for his football team. I think there's a lot of great things to take away from it. Alshire out there playing, significant snaps with Dre Greenlaw. I think this is just, we got to look at the future. We got to look at some of the things that they did. I know this one hurts for 49er fans. This one's tough, but that's what happens. You lose games. I mean, it happens in the NFL. You can't win them all. That's why you have to cherish the chances that you have to win a Super Bowl. So when you win them, you're excited about it. And when you don't have that opportunity, it's unfortunate, but this is a good football team, and I really can't say. I'm not going to sit here and be a negative, Debbie Downer on the 49ers.
There's no reason to. I'm looking at every single game this year. Every single game this year that the Niners have lost, every single one of them was a one-score game. It means one play by anyone, anywhere, at any point in time can shift the tide and shift the momentum, and the outcome could be different. Every single loss If you had told me before the year the Niners were going to be in the NFC Championship game and lose a game by one score, and any loss they had this season would be by one score, I'd be like, you know what? That sounds like a pretty gosh darn good year to me. Sounds like it's a pretty good year for the 49ers. Yeah, you want to go to a Super Bowl. Yeah, you want to get there. This team overcame so much, though. There were so many things that went against them, so many storylines, so many, negative narratives, so many things to overcome. It absolutely sucks. It really, really sucks that you don't pull this thing out when you had an opportunity, you had a chance. But at the end of the day, this team fought through everything. They had an opportunity late. You didn't make enough plays. And you know what? It is what it is. It's unfortunate. Things don't always go your way, right? It can't always bounce your way. It can't always be a win for your team. But listen, adversity is still really important.
Yeah.
It's a really important thing to have to overcome. They overcame a lot of adversity this year. They didn't overcome enough of it today. But they're going to learn a lot from this. They're going to learn a lot. They're going to grow some more from this. And this one's going to sting. I don't know if this one definitely doesn't sting as much as the Super Bowl, but it's darn close.
Yeah, it doesn't sting as much of a Super Bowl. I think the NFC Championship game that stung the most in my lifetime was the 1990, going for the three-peat, Joe Montana getting hurt. That one stung a lot more. I think that, these ones are unfortunate. These losses, they stink. And I see Jay Hills lighting it up. You can't possibly let this happen with 15 minutes to go. This is how football is. You're one big play away. You're momentum away from things happening. I just watched Kansas City lose a big-time game. Guess what? This is the NFL that we're in now. The 49ers defense only gave up 20 points in this game.
It's enough to win a football game.
It should be. And that's the thing. And so when you look at it, maybe people are wrong. Maybe defense doesn't win championships. Maybe the offense has to be a big part of that. Yeah. We know from Kansas City that offenses can't win championships alone and defenses can't win championships alone. It looks like you have to have a really good football team. It's unfortunate that the 49ers don't get to move forward. They don't get to go to the Super Bowl. I think we're all hyped about that. But we have to give some credit to the Rams for getting it done. But overall, I'm happy about what this team did this year. They kept us excited all the way through January. 49ers football, again, 17 NFC Championship games in the franchise histories. We're absolutely spoiled as fans to have a team that is this good. And I think that, we can continue to be hopeful because we have John Lynch and we have Kyle Shanahan. And you're right, David Campbell. Who are these people that said fire Kyle Shanahan, a guy that has taken the 49ers to 2 NFC championships in 3 seasons? This is the kind of stuff that Jim Harbaugh did when he was here. Please don't run these coaches out of town. We're lucky we had an opportunity to get 2. So, yeah, optimistic about the future. Curious what's going to happen now with a lot of these positions, players, who's going to come back. And then let's see what they do at the quarterback position. Is it Trey's time? If it is, let's roll with Trey. Let's see what he can do. But I'm going to be excited about the future. Not pleased with the football game. That's what happens. But I think everyone knows you can't win them all. And these players are going to beat themselves up enough. They don't need help doing it along the way. No,
they don't. And I'm not going to be anyone that's going to pile on top of this football team after the game. We just saw the heart that they just went out there and played with. A lot of the sacrifices that were made by a lot of guys putting their bodies on the line, even though they were damaged, hurt, not necessarily 100% healthy. Megan says, tough team loss, but got to keep our heads up and look to what we can improve for next season. Got to stay optimistic, 100%. While this absolutely sucks and this absolutely stings, there are a lot of things to look forward to with this team, a lot of decisions that still need to be made, but none of them are going to be made right now. Not a single one of them is going to be made right now at this very moment.
No.
There's so much to dive into, so many things to look at. It's just, it's really bad. And Ryan, we have some fake keyboard fans who do not understand football, just want to point fingers. There's a lot of people that do that, though, Ryan. That's kind of, there's a lot of people that point fingers. But you know what? There's also a lot of people who are just emotional. They're upset. No, that's a lot of it. A lot of people are disappointed. They're upset. They want to see that Super Bowl. There's people that have never got to see the 49ers win a Super Bowl. Accurate.
I've got to witness a lot of them. I cherish them. I know how important it is and how hard it is to get there. But what I am excited about? I'm excited that my team made it to the playoffs, that my team went all the way to the NFC Championship game, and that they had an opportunity to win. With 1:40 left in the football game, the 49ers had a chance to go 75 yards for a touchdown to win the game. I think that's what you're asking for as a team. You want your team to be competitive. It's hard to be competitive year in and year out. And after 2020, I think if you would have told any 49er fan next year we're going to be the NFC Championship game with a chance to go to the Super Bowl, everyone would have signed up for that. We got it. When we were 3-5 this year, if you said it, everyone would have signed up for it. So now, I know this is disappointing to everybody, but when it comes down to it, the 49ers didn't play a bad football game. They showed themselves well, and they made plays when they needed to make it. We celebrated George Kittle's touchdown and Deebo Samuel's great run. But the running game, it didn't get it done. So we're going to have some questions in the running game department. I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of questions on the offensive line, but Still optimistic about the future.
Very optimistic about the future. And KNDR says, with May have lost, but all that means is 49ers cutback draft coverage time.
That will be coming soon.
That is accurate.
There'll be a little bit of a break.
A little bit. We're going to be taking a break at some point here coming up. It's probably going to be after the Super Bowl, you think?
I don't know.
We're gonna figure it out.
We'll talk about it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But look, at the end of the day, listen, I get it. Words of wisdom. Let's also keep it real, guys. Not piling. Give criticism to Kyle on some questionable play calls. I want to know what those questionable play calls were. I really do, because I thought he put the guys in a lot of good situations and got stuff into the right spot and got some fairly decent play calls in, and guys didn't execute. The fullback dive to Juszczyk, it's very well called, very well designed. Kittle hits a guy initially and isn't able to hold on to his block. His guy slips off, and his guy's the guy that makes the play. If Kittle is able to hold on to that block and not kind of get a little bit lower in space and just hold that guy off for a step more, Juszczyk is able to get upfield and make a big play there and make a big run. There were a handful of those type of plays all day today where it felt like guys were in the right spot. You have an opportunity to make a play, and we just didn't finish some of them.
Yeah, I mean, they sold out to stop the run in this game.
100%.
They did, and they gave the 49ers some opportunities in the past game, and there were times the 49ers took advantage of those, and then a couple times they missed on them. But I think you got to be excited too about. I mean, how excited should we all have been about Jawan Jennings catching that ball in front of the sticks and then powering his way to get a first down. Brandon Ayuk making this catches on these slant passes, almost breaking free, getting the one over the top that Jimmy throws to him. Great play. Deebo Samuel just doing it all. Deebo Samuel was the best running back on the field. He was the best receiver for the 49ers today. I thought he looked fantastic. So you got all these young players that are doing big time things. I think you got to be optimistic about it. And it's one of those things where you look at the game and it sucks. I mean, you don't want to lose. But look at the key things, and these guys never stop fighting. And the attitude of that locker room has got to give you some hope for the future. And a future that probably is led by the number 3 pick in the draft, Trey Lance. So I'm excited about the future of the 49ers, and let's see what happens. Let's see if they can roll this into something else. Something like this can sometimes spur you to push even harder. So it's unfortunate that we lost, but I've seen a lot of good in this game.
100%. And look, this is a great comment here from Sir Juju. Team loss, guys. We'll try again next season. I'm absolutely proud of our Niners. Hold y'all head high. Keep moving forward. Faithful. That's all you can do at this point. That really, really is. It's the only thing you can do. Marketing Pro, appreciate that, man. Congrats to the Niners fans on a great season. It was a great season for us. You guys continue on. You're going to have yourself a nice matchup with the Bengals. It truly is, man. It's unfortunate. It's terrible. It's awful. You don't want it to be the case. You don't want it to end the way that it did. It's just, it's heartbreaking. It truly is. It's a heartbreaking loss. It's a heartbreaking situation. What happened now?
Matt Burgo said the Rams fans were loud when it counted. Actually, the sound system was loud. They were pumping in sound. Lots of people, chiming in. Even Rams fans chiming in that, hey, there was some piped in sound. So congratulations. I know the Rams fans were getting after it, but it was a little bit inflated by that.
If that's the case, I mean, the NFL is going to have to take a look into that.
They never do. They've been doing this for years.
They definitely should be, but hey, it is what it is. Revenge Tour 3.0 says Jan. I mean, at this point, Revenge Tour is...
It's over.
It's over.
Yeah.
Your Revenge Tour is over. Your Revenge Tour, your opportunity was right now. It was this year. It was this moment. If you win this game, you had your opportunity at a Revenge Tour, and you had Bengals 49ers part 3 in the Super Bowl. That's what you were going to have. That was the situation. It's done now. Revenge Tour is over. It is all now. It's all now. It's not going back to the drawing board.
I think Revenge Tour is over in 2020.
After the 2020 season, I'm agree with you. It felt like maybe it was going to go a different direction, but this year, after the way they started turning
Matt's
around.
saying, "Oh, come on in." No, literally during the game. Go check the Twitter. All over the place. Rams fans and them saying the speakers were by their head and it was so loud they could barely hear the game.
Well, there you go.
I mean, you can say that I'm just being that way, but I'm just being honest. That's just how it is.
Well, look, at the end of the day, the Niners are in a really good spot. They truly are. The Trey Lance trade ends up being even better for the 49ers now because you're sitting in a situation, in a position where you're going to be the 29th pick is what you're losing and what you're giving up. And, you don't have a lot of draft capital that you've wasted or done things of that nature. You have a decision now to make this offseason in terms of what the plan is going forward. Is it Jimmy Garoppolo? Are you moving off of Jimmy? A lot of 49ers fans may feel like it's time to move off of Jimmy, and you're probably right. And there's some I've already seen some people tweeting out, Ant. He just hurt his draft stock with that last throw, and it's like I doubt that.
No.
I doubt one throw is going to be the difference. Look, at the end of the day, you have a situation now where you're going to be able to move off of Jimmy. You're going to be able to probably get some draft capital. You have Trey Lance sitting in the wings, But if he's not ready, you're going to have a decision to make. Is it Jimmy and you don't move off of him for one more year to try and bridge yourself to Trey being a little bit closer? Is Trey ready? Is he the guy going forward? Or is there another option out there in the ether for you to go grab to go for 1 year with this team as it's currently constituted? You're going to have some cap space. You're going to have some moves and decisions to be made in terms of freeing up cap space and being able to re-sign and bring guys in. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of things and a lot of options, a lot of things to talk about with this team. But right now, we just got to try and appreciate what this team did, the heart they played with, the way that these guys fought through adversity, pain, things of that nature, put it all out there for each other, and came up just a little bit short.
Yeah, and Ryan M says, do you think Kansas City fans are calling for Mahomes' head? What is the deal with our fans? Yeah, definitely no one's calling for Mahomes' head. I think that fans are just upset, but I think with Patrick Mahomes, he already won a Super Bowl, so no one's going to be on him. And then Christ-minded said, it's just timely mistakes, and I think it's a totality of mistakes. I think that is what it is. It's all the mistakes kind of coming together. There's pivotal ones that could definitely change the game if you make that play. You have an opportunity to change some things. But both teams had those in this game. Matthew Stafford on the quarterback sneak doesn't get it done. That could have been a huge play in this game. And then Sean McVay challenging 2 times and losing timeouts could have been huge. So I think that there was opportunities for both teams. And unfortunately, when it came down to it, the 49ers didn't make enough plays in the end. You got to hope that they're going to build for the future. And, next year they're going to work tirelessly. And when those opportunities come, they're going to just, make those plays. But these guys, these players deserve a lot of gratitude and a lot of appreciation for what they did this season. They played really well. They're a good team. In fact, they outlasted how many other teams, 28 other football teams. That's impressive. And I think that's something that as 49er fans, we should hang our hat on. And, you got people in this world and fans of other fan bases, especially.
Tori, no one is comparing Jimmy G to Mahomes. They're comparing situations. No one is going to call for Mahomes' head for throwing a pick and costing his team the game at the end. But people are going to call for Jimmy Garoppolo's head for throwing a pick late that hit JaMychal Hasty in the hands. The idea here is consistency is what some people are talking about.
Well, I think people are just talking about the fan base, and it really has nothing to do with Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, he can make his mistakes.
He's won a Super Bowl.
He won a Super Bowl. Yeah, he's fine.
He's allowed to make errors. And
I think it's like that for everyone when they're upset. That's just the way it is.
It truly is. It's an unfortunate situation. Look, Matthew, I don't know if you need to go away from runs up the middle. There were a lot of situations in this football game where I saw run opportunities, and the Niners were going in for run opportunities, and I saw 1 or 2 guys miss blocks. Either at the front line, Tom Compton on the edge on one of them. I saw it. I was literally calling for it. I was like, you go right here. You run to the right. Tom Compton kicks this D end out, and we got ourselves a lane and probably a 4 or 5 yard gain. And he misses his block, and the guy comes downhill, squeezes it. He's able to make the play at the line of scrimmage. Ends up being a 1 yard gain. We had a lot of that today. A lot of guys just not executing on the level that we're used to up front. When you play this style of physical football, execution becomes extremely important. And today, you didn't execute enough. If you're not executing enough, you're putting yourself in a bad spot, in a bad situation. I'm really not looking at this team right now and going, man, we're in super big trouble. No, you got a lot of options, a lot of things you can do. Mike McGlinchey coming back next year healthy. Do you want to re-sign Tom Compton? Where is Aaron Banks' development? Where is Jalen Moore's development? Colton McKivitz is another guy that everyone needs to kind of keep an eye on as well. A guy that went in for Trent Williams and played. How is he doing? You're going to get Justin Skule back from injury as well. There are tons of things to look at with this team. Tons of guys and tons of development still to go with this team. And then you have the addition of that of Trey Lance. What is he? Where is he going? What does his development look like? Because anyone that's claiming that Trey is the guy and the solution next year, you don't know. We don't know. We haven't seen him. We haven't seen him practice. We don't know where his development is. Has he improved? Yes. Has he improved enough to get you right back to this position next year? We don't know. We're going to see when it comes time for training camp. He's going to have a long offseason, a lot of work that he's going to be putting in. I'm looking forward to seeing where he's at. Yeah. And we're going to see what this team ends up doing decision-wise at the quarterback position as well as other positions, because D-line depth was key piece this year. Can you get all of these guys back? Can you bring all of them back in?
I think it's this simple. If they don't address the quarterback position, they know Trey Lance is ready to roll. I mean, that's just that simple. Lou has got something great to say, and I want to read it out loud. Guys, keep the faith. I spent a lot of years sitting in Kezar following a bad team and a lot of great years in Candlestick. I would just like to say enjoy the ride while you can. That's a great comment.
Absolutely.
That's a great, team concept as well. And I think that, that's the thing is it's just like you're just rolling with your team, and you're going to have disappointment. I mean, only one team wins the championship at the end. You're always hoping it's yours. The 49ers have enjoyed 5 times that they've won Super Bowls. They've been in 7 Super Bowls, 17 NFC Championship games. We have to be thankful for what we've gotten as a franchise and as a fan base. And unfortunately, these losses are going to happen.
Correct. And Ryan M., we play in the toughest division in the NFC, didn't pay for a team of superstars and lost by 3 points. Heads up, and let's get better for next year. That's all you can do.
Yeah.
That's all you can do at this point. Look, the Rams went all in. The pressure was on them today to step up in a big way, and they stepped up. They did what they needed to do. They made their move for this situation in this moment. They have their moment now. They're going to try and go capitalize on it, and the Niners aren't going back to the drawing board, and they're going to look at what they did. They're going to look at how close they came. They're going to look at all of the losses and conglomerate throughout the year and look how close they were each and every time they had an opportunity to beat a team at home instead of in this position. And welcome, Christ-minded 247 to the Cutback crew.
Yeah,
appreciate
Christ-minded 24/7, exactly.
We appreciate the subscription. But look, man, at the end of the day, there is so much to look forward to with this team. There are so many things going forward. There's so many ways that the team can address issues and look to fix problems they had all throughout the season. It just no one wanted it to end like this in this way in this moment against a team that you had beaten 6 straight times. But that was one of the things we talked about leading up all throughout this playoffs was having to play this team a third time. It's tough. It really truly is tough to beat teams 3 times in one season. It's tough to beat anybody and put together a winning streak in the NFL, especially in this NFL. I mean, this year was as tight as it's ever been across the board.
I think so. I think that I'm not so worried about a team that you beat 6 times in a row or anything like that. I don't think that played anything into this football game. I think when it came down to it, they just executed a little bit better at certain times than we did. And I think that this football team will look themselves in the mirror and realize they left a couple of plays on the field, and they'll learn that, put that as motivation. I think your hope, though, is that you can bring back a lot of the players that you need to bring back. They got big decisions at certain situations. But this is a good football team, and the fact that it's a team that responded well to what Kyle Shanahan and the coaching staff put together, means that they're still going to be behind Kyle moving forward. This is a team we saw that was a close-knit unit. This game had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of plays for both teams where it felt like, wow, that play could have changed the game. Skoranek could have caught a touchdown pass, that would have changed the game. Jaquiski Tartt could have caught an interception, that would have changed the game. I think you have these moments, George Kittle on the opening drive. If Jimmy Garoppolo puts a better ball on there and he's able to catch it, he's probably still running. So I think that there's plays out there, but that's part of football. You have to be able to execute those plays and get it done. And when you don't, you give the opponent the opportunity to win. And today the Rams won and the 49ers lost, and it's unfortunate. But now you look to the next step, and we got to deal with the aftermath that is, and now there's a lot of big decisions for the 49ers.
Accurate, Ant. Very big decisions for the 49ers, big options. Mike Burgos asked, are you worried about some of the Niner stars asking for money and possibly stifling the chances of piecing together holes in the team? That's always a possibility. That's always an option. But there's a lot of teams that are going to be kind of cap strung next year. A lot of competitive teams, and a lot of these guys that you're going to have to get paid, that are going to need to be getting paid or wanting to get paid, are guys who are getting up there age-wise. You don't know how many years of high-quality football they have left. And if a Super Bowl is the thing that's the most important to them, now that they've been this close 2 of the last 3 years, do you want to go take the big contract, or do you want to just be competitive and play for a team that you know is going to have a chance? All of those things are going to factor into a lot of those decisions, and also what the market is. K'Wan Williams, I don't think necessarily tonight he necessarily helped his market in terms of what happened against Cooper Kupp, which may mean you may be able to bring him in. But it also may mean that the Niners are thinking, hey, you know what? Maybe we'll have better luck if that's Jason Verrett in the slot next year.
It could be. I think there's going to be a lot of decisions, that are going to have to be made. And I don't think this game is going to be the reason why they decide if a player is going to be on the 49ers next year or not. It's going to be the entire season and how they played week in and week out. Getting beat by Cooper Kupp, you might as well welcome, every other corner that he played against this season.
Accurate.
He played so well this year, and he made a lot of, really nice plays. So I don't think this is a reflection on who K'Wan Williams is as a player.
No.
Could it hurt his stock? I mean, yeah, to a team that doesn't pay attention, doesn't do the proper scouting.
Oh, and We saw that last year. I mean, no one was willing to pay him good money to be a nickel corner.
It's also coming off the COVID year. All the salary cap was way down. There's going to be some differences, but the 49ers are going to have to, weigh, hey, is the juice worth the squeeze with some of these guys? Is it worth the money? And those are going to be tough decisions. They're going to have to probably walk away from a few players that we wish they would, have coming back. But they've showed that they can go find gems in other areas, right? Arden Key is somebody that they went out and they signed late after he got cut by the Raiders, and he turned into a gem for them. So it's about finding those gems and finding those, bargain basement guys and then turning them into something, counting on your coaches. And I seen Ralph asking about coaching staff, going other places. D'Amico Ryans is still interviewing with Minnesota. He's a finalist there.
McDaniels.
And, of course, Mike McDaniels with Miami is one of two left because Dabble went up to New York.
That's very true. He did. KNDR, by the way, said we can sign everybody if we go over to settings and turn salary cap off.
Well played, KNDR.
Accurate,
well
Caleb.
Played.
Accurate. Rob Swank, Ward's dirty hit was careless and cost us dearly. T.O. says, so was the taunting call, stupid mistakes. T.O., I disagree with the taunting call. The taunting call was soft. It was as soft could be.
I don't know what he did. I'm guessing he said something.
The problem is Tyreek Hill literally last week deuced up a dude running into the end zone.
What did he do? I don't know.
We're never gonna get.
I know, but did anyone see anything that Alshire did?
No.
I mean, because he was literally walking away when the flag got thrown.
He didn't stand over him.
Yeah.
He didn't turn around and mouth something to him on the ground.
I mean, I'm with the Jimmy Ward. Like, that's a penalty.
100% a penalty.
I never did know what that penalty was for.
I don't think I would be able to either. Would not be able to at all. Matt Burgos, you're funny. Mike Burgos, do you think it's possible that the Niners can find a diamond in the rough for cheap due to the down year that was college QBs?
Well, yeah.
If it's a 5th round pick, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any quarterbacks coming out of the draft this year that are going to be worth a lick of salt.
I don't think they're going to draft one. I think they'll sign a veteran quarterback to back up Trey Lance. Somebody like a Mitchell Trubisky or an Andy Dalton or somebody like that. That sounds like it makes more sense. To put in the room behind Trey if you're rolling with Trey.
David, I don't know why you keep having issues. You seem to be the only guy who's having issues, and I'm not seeing anything over here. That's so weird. You'll probably just have to. I mean, I would just call PayPal. In all honesty, if you haven't done it yet, talk to them because I'm not sure what exactly it is going on. Get us your overreaction Monday preview. Fire Kyle Tops list. Just asking. No, there is no overreaction Monday. That's not what this channel is. We don't overreact.
There'll be lots of people that overreact.
There's gonna be tons of people.
I hope no one goes down the Kyle Shanahan. I seen people going down the he blows leads Kyle Shanahan thing again. But let's be honest. Kyle Shanahan put us in the NFC Championship game again. I mean, the guy does his job. He wins, and if you would have told me that he was going to do this without his number one running back and have the running game that he had, that he was going to develop Deebo Samuel into the weapon that he is. Okay, I'm happy about it, but losing Raheem Mostert early on in the season could have been catastrophic for this team. They had a hard time adjusting at first, but they did, and that's good coaching.
It is really good coaching, Brad. I do not want Tyrod Taylor or Fitzmagic as a backup next year.
Tyrod Taylor's not a bad option.
Maybe. I feel like there's a better option out there.
As a backup, he's a veteran presence that could come in and win you a football game if you need it.
I'd rather have Mitchell Trubisky.
Oh, I'd rather have Mitchell Trubisky as well, but that's Tyrod Taylor's not a bad option.
It's not a terrible option.
No,
it's not my first option. Aziz got flagged for stepping over the wide receiver. It didn't call for a flag, but that's all I saw. That's all he saw, Sir Juju.
Yeah, I think it's like Ralph said. It's either he said something or that was it. I mean,
one of the two.
But I mean, if it's just him stepping over him, that's I don't know. The NFL can explain it. I don't know.
We're gonna have to try and explain it, man, because I'm not sure. He'll get a chance to start, only to be put on IR with the first case of Omega vid.
Oh, geez.
Tyrod Taylor will be the backup, and then he said, and then he'll get a chance to start, and only to be put on IR with the first case of the Omega virus.
It's possible.
Could happen. Could happen. Bro, 4th and 2, show some flex and get the game. Coaching calls were passive for my likings. SL Million, listen, I get it. A lot of people still give Kyle crap for throwing the football too much in the Super Bowl with the Atlanta Falcons, and now people are upset that he didn't go for it on 4th and 2, Ant.
The 4th and 2 call would have been interesting. I think that maybe the 2nd and 1 call is the one that's probably the most interesting, where he runs, kind of a little bit of a trap play up the middle. I think that one was a little bit interesting, but I mean, you're thinking you could get it with 2nd and 1. Elijah Mitchell just ripped off a 9-yard run. When you're a run-first football team like the 49ers are, you got to believe that you can get a first down on 3rd and 2. Those are attitude plays. The Rams stepped up and made the play.
Correct.
And I think the Rams were kind of feeling what we were feeling. When we talked in the game plan video, we felt a play off of Trent Williams going in motion was something you could look for, and it seemed like that's what they were doing. I think actually Kyle could have went back to the well and ran the exact same play, and it would have worked.
Probably.
But you know what? It's one of those things where hindsight's 20/20. It's hard when you're in the middle of those games. You're just coaching on what you see, and sometimes it doesn't go your way.
And SL, that wasn't. I mean, in all honesty, that wasn't a 4th and 2.
Yeah,
it really wasn't. It was closer to a 4th and 3 than anything else.
Yeah,
it truly was. That was a long 2 yards. My dad looked at me at one point when they're coming up to line of scrimmage. He goes, 4th and 2. He goes, if it's a short 2, they get quarterback sneak, they get up to the line. I was all, that is the longest 2 yards I think I've ever seen in my entire life. They are not running a quarterback sneak here. This is probably try and draw them off sides, delay a game, take your 5, punt, push them back, and then try and get a stop and get the football back. That's what you're hoping for. And it just didn't happen. It really didn't happen. And it's unfortunate, man. It truly is. There were a lot of opportunities. You're just hoping that you don't put yourself in the second down in one situation where you get a negative play and push yourself back. You did. Made it a little bit harder. Third down, a little bit harder, and you're looking at that situation then. Matthew
Rowley has a good question. He says, let's say Trey is as good as advertised. Do you think they remain as run dependent? I think you have to look back to how Mike Shanahan handled the Denver Broncos when he had John Elway, and Terrell Davis. Terrell Davis still rushed for over 2,000 yards. What it does, though, is it makes it easier when you have a quarterback like that because you see less 8-man boxes. Because when you get the 8-man boxes, then he makes you pay. So if Trey Lance can elevate to that level, I think it will open up the run game even more. But I think you'll see more of a balanced look still. I don't think the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan look to go away from the run anytime. Just if somebody's able to slow up their run or stop it, he can then turn to this quarterback to go ahead and make the big plays that he needs to make.
Correct there, my guy. That's absolutely correct. It's yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they'll do with Trey in terms of that. The idea with Trey Lance is that he adds another dynamic and aspect to your offense, but he needs to be able to operate your offense. He's got to be able to operate the things you need him to operate, get the ball out to the guys he needs to get the ball out to on time, checking it out. The idea here isn't to fully change the offense. The idea is to take what he already does really great, which is the mobility, the ability to run the football, make teams play 11 on 11 with him, because if you don't respect him as a runner, he can run it on you. The ability to extend plays, all of that, and then work it in and mesh it in with the system you already have in place, in which you have a quarterback who can see the field, diagnose, get the ball out quickly, and get the ball to his playmakers in space. And then also, Trey can add that element of the deep ball, right? Taking the top off the defense, that extra bit that a lot of people feel Jimmy doesn't have that extra bit. And, we haven't consistently seen it from Jimmy all the time. Another play, Ant, that's not talked about in this game that could have been a difference maker. If BA is able to keep his balance on that deep ball fade from Jimmy Garoppolo, if he's able to keep his balance and it doesn't let his momentum doesn't take him out of bounds, that's a touchdown also. What a throw by Jimmy, what a route by BA. It's an unfortunate situation, but it was a big play in the moment and it ended up getting us points.
Yeah, he did everything he could to stay in bounds.
He did.
There's just no way he could. But yeah, that was a nice throw in the moment, and that was a really good play by Jimmy Garoppolo. And Brandon Ayuk routed the guy, and we saw that from Brandon. As we were moving forward through the season, it felt like Brandon Ayuk was kind of coming into his own. He was making the plays across the middle. I'm still waiting for him to break one of these long ones. I'm waiting for it. I think he's got that potential to make some big plays down the field. We'll see. We'll see what the offense looks like. With a possible different quarterback under center. I know there's a lot of decisions to be made there, and I don't know if it's going to be Trey Lance or somebody else.
MK, I don't know who you're talking to. Maybe you're talking to some of the people in chat. And nobody on here, though, on the pod is blaming Kyle.
No, we're definitely not blaming Kyle
Shanahan. Never going to blame Kyle Shanahan. The season doesn't go the way it goes without Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, and we back when they were 3-5, we weren't blaming Kyle Shanahan. We're sitting here telling you it wasn't Kyle Shanahan's fault, that it was lack of execution that was the reason why the plays weren't working.
Brad, you are correct on that final drive when Ramsey almost had that interception. Jimmy, if he could have gone over the top to Jennings, it was a big play. It was. Jennings was wide open. Ramsey got really, really aggressive coming up underneath, trying to take away BA late. Jimmy went from reading the left side of the field to middle to having to roll right. He's kind of eyeing BA the whole way. He doesn't really see Ramsey. And, BA's not expecting Ramsey to come down on that because he feels, Ramsey has over the top one-on-one coverage, which he may have had. We'll have to go back and watch the All-22 film to see. But no, it's another situation where a different play could have been made with a different outcome, but you don't make it in those situations. The nice thing is that it doesn't end up being a pick six or a pick, so it doesn't end up like completely killing you. You still gave your defense a chance. And that's what it felt like all day. It felt like all day Jimmy made some mistakes and made some errors. This team made some mistakes and some errors. But they didn't really break your back. They just kept mounting. And at some point you were either going to get over the hump or you weren't. And they didn't. They didn't in this game. The Rams did.
Yeah, and I think you can look back on, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch's decisions of going up and getting Trey Lance, and I think you can understand what they did and what they gave away, and their decision to keep Jimmy Garoppolo. By keeping Jimmy Garoppolo, you put yourself in an opportunity to get to the NFC Championship, and come up one drive away from getting to the Super Bowl. I think that's just just showing that they're making good decisions. Good decision making is what you need in your front office and your coaching staff, and they're doing a good job. So overall, I think it's pretty nice for the 49ers. I know that they would love to have won this. All of them are going to be highly disappointed. It's going to take a little bit of time to get over because I think they feel like they were a good enough team to get in there and win a Super Bowl, and I believe they were as well.
Absolutely.
But when it came down to it, they couldn't win the game when they needed to. So now all you can do is, take in what you saw and then, try to get back after it next season.
Accurate. Aunt Lou here. And I love that Kyle Juszczyk jersey. When I look at it, I see John David Crow, kind of like your number 14 Ray Wersching jersey.
There you go.
Thought you could use a laugh.
Well done. Thank you. Yeah, my Ray Wersching jersey. I'm looking forward to wearing that in the offseason.
I'm really looking forward to it. We'll see who number 14 is for the Niners next year, Aunt.
Yeah, hopefully it's someone good.
River Craycraft?
I have a traveling number 14 jersey at this point. Yeah. Kasim Osgood at this point.
Good old Kasim Osgood, bro.
Brandon Cooks, can you come to the 49ers and wear 14? That one would be fun to wear.
Glorious, my guy. That'd be absolutely glorious.
Great.
SL Million, what was Jimmy thinking throwing it short, though, at the end before he threw the pick? I don't know. Did you see the all-22 footage already, SL? Do you know?
Short of what?
He was talking about the one that he threw short that ends up skipping off the ground, I think, to BA.
Oh, on the screen when he comes out?
I think so.
Yeah, I didn't see how it came out of his hand.
I don't know how it came out of his hand.
I think a pivotal play, too, is the nice play the defensive lineman for the Rams plays and knock down the ball that's going to Hasty. Mm-hmm. Because if Jimmy's able to get that ball to Hasty has a little bit of room, and he can get some yards, and that gets that momentum going for the drive. It makes it a 2nd and 5 or even shorter than that. I think that was a pivotal play, and that was a nice stunt by the Rams.
It really was. Let's go Cutback Crew. Nothing changes. Niners all day from David V. 100%, my guy. JLE says when Greenlaw went out, you could feel a difference there in coverage. You're really good when Greenlaw went out of the game and it became Azeez Al-Shaair's job. Azeez has improved a lot this year, but that's an area where he struggles. But again, I need to watch the all-22 film to get an idea of what the Rams were doing well with their sets and how they were scheming things. They did a really good job of using the backup tight end to chip and then be able to dump the ball underneath to him. And, the Niners are being very aggressive. They ended up covering him a lot, and he ended up getting some big plays from that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that ended up working out with Higbee being out. They kind of changed up the game plan of how they wanted to handle it. With Higbee, you're looking at him as an offensive threat. With, the backup, you're not really looking at that. You knew they were going to try to keep him in, and then you think it's a mismatch with Nick Bosa against him.
David said no. He means the 3-yard loss with the check down pass on the last drive. Better not throw that.
Oh, the one to Jawan Jennings.
Yeah,
it's probably better just to throw it out of bounds. It stops the clock, and then you don't lose any yardage. He's right. That is one where he should have just thrown it out of bounds and lived to fight another day. That one right there is a bad decision.
It was. Yada and MK Dub disagreed with you on that. You can feel any way you want. Yada says, I knew it was going to come down to a Jimmy interception. It really doesn't. There's a lot of other things in that game that happens before the interception. And then Jimmy lost this game. I mean, you can feel any way that you want about it. Jimmy Garoppolo threw 2 touchdown passes. Jimmy Garoppolo led a lot of drives into certain positions of the field, got the Niners to good opportunities. Did he do enough in this game? Obviously not. You didn't win. But did he lose us the football game? I mean, I don't know. If Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't throw 2 touchdowns, are you in the football game? Niners lost by 3 points. It's gonna fall at a lot of people's feet. It's not gonna fall at one guy's.
I think a lot of football players are gonna walk out of that game feeling like they were the reason the team lost.
Accurate.
Jimmy Ward will probably beat himself up. Jaquiski Tartt will beat himself up. There's lots of guys. Jimmy Garoppolo, of course. I think that you can point fingers. Everyone, it's like the Spider-Man meme right now. Everyone can just point fingers at everyone. That's fine. That's not what it's about though. It's it really is a team game. It's complementary football. And the 49ers didn't have enough as a team to get it done today. They needed one more stop on defense or one more big play on offense. One big special teams play to get it done, and they didn't have enough. And that's how you have to look at it. We can sit here and pick it apart and blame certain players. But when it comes down to it, that's not what it's about. And that's not how they review film either. When they're looking at it, you're looking at a sum of mistakes, a sum of plays that you left on the field. Some of them not even mistakes. Maybe you just didn't get, the block the way you wanted or make the tackle in the open field like you wanted. These things happen, and that's really what it comes down to.
It truly does, man. It truly does. It's truly unfortunate. Did Deebo Samuel save a kickoff from going out of bounds or no? Couldn't tell. I really couldn't. I couldn't tell what happened either.
It's close. It's one of those things where it's really high in the air. Should he let it go out of bounds? Maybe. But you worry about it getting a bounce where it bounces back. You try to catch anything you can get to, but That was a nice kick by the Rams, a situational kick, and they executed it well. That's why the Rams special teams is one of the best in the NFL. It was number 4 overall in DVOA. So I think that, that was one of the areas that they took advantage of. And they didn't allow anything from the 49ers on kick return. And
Jan here, fans giving out blame like Oprah gives out gifts.
There you go.
Accurate. You get some fault. You get some fault. David V, it was Goff's fault. I like that one. That's funny. That's actually really, really good. Brad says that Tart's beating himself up big time on social media.
Yeah,
saying blame him. I feel bad for Tart too, because Whiskey Tart had himself one heck of a season. If he makes that pick, maybe things change. Maybe things go a little differently. But again, I'm not going to put it on one guy. There's no reason to. There were a lot of plays to be made in this football game that didn't get made.
Yeah, when mistakes get made, the rest of the team has got to pick up their brother. They got to make plays for him.
And you saw Fred on the sideline talking to him, being like, "Hey, man, this isn't going to be the thing. This isn't going to be the reason."
That's the difference, right? You see the players talking to 49ers, their 49er teammates on the sideline, and it's fine. You see the Rams, and you got Jalen Ramsey telling Cooper Kupp to get out of there. Don't talk to him. I think that these guys are. These guys are professionals, but they laid it all on the line for their team, and I'm glad that these guys are going to pick each other up. But yeah, you got to try to pick these guys up. There's going to be mistakes in football. There's just no perfect games out there, and not both teams can't play perfect games. It's the one that makes the least amount of mistakes, and the one that executes the best is going to win. That's just how it is. That's football.
That is very, very accurate. And tell Tart not to be sour, pun intended, from Jan. We all doing okay. GG's, y'all. Hey, look, Stovey, we all good. We hope the Cutback crew is too. I know this sucks. I know it hurts. It's not the way any of us wanted this to go. It's not the way anyone wanted this to end.
Yeah.
But, man, what a team gutty performance from everyone. Battling all season long, battling back from a 3-5 start after you won your first 2 and then ended up dropping 4 straight. What a turnaround. What a way to completely put the team first, put the onus on your brother, taking a look at the guy next to you and holding yourself accountable. It was all about whatever it was going to take, and you gave it all you had tonight, and it just wasn't enough. It's truly unfortunate, but that's how it works in sports, and that's how it works with games, right? There's a winner, there's a loser. You can't always come out on top, and if you play the game a little bit better, you execute a little bit better, you give yourself a better opportunity, and the Niners just didn't do it enough tonight, and it's one game, it's one moment. You hope you can learn from it. You got a lot of things and a lot of pieces still coming back and a lot of decisions to be made, but you're in a great position moving forward to get yourself right back to this position next year.
Yeah, it's going to be a interesting offseason. And after everyone kind of recovers from this, I'm sure everyone's going to kick into offseason mode and start talking about, players that are going to be coming back, impending free agency, and then, of course, working towards the draft. And
accurate.
Because of the 49ers' late run, the draft pick that the Miami Dolphins got for Trey Lance is going to be down there at 29. So I think you're a little more happy about that. You gave up a lot less than you thought in the beginning.
I know I'm happy about that.
Yeah, so we'll see. We're still going to be on watch to see which coaches stay, which ones leave. I think every 49er fan would love to see D'Amico Ryans and Mike McDaniel be back in San Francisco next year. There's no guarantees right now. Let's see what happens now. Now that their seasons are over, that is when coaches can really be hired. So it's going to be an interesting offseason, and I'm looking forward to it. I just wish it started a little bit later. But when it comes down to it, I'm proud of my team. I'm proud of how they played. Let's see what happens in the offseason, though. Let's see if this is Trey. If it's Trey's time, it should be. But let's see what happens.
It should be Trey's time. You would think it's going to be. All signs point to it. We'll see what his development looks like. We'll see where he's at, and we'll see what this Niner coaching staff ends up eventually deciding. But Cutback crew, man, this was rough. This was tough. As JLE just said, a roller coaster of a season. Lots of ups, lots of downs.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it's going to just come down to, what's next? What's the best decision? How many people said the Niners wouldn't even make the playoffs and our guys did? How many people said there was no way we'd beat the Packers and our guys did? This game hurts, but be proud. That's all you can do. That's all you can do right now is be proud. Be happy with what this team accomplished. Be happy about this team rallying behind their quarterback. Be happy with this team rallying and looking at each other and picking their brothers up week in, week out since week 7 of the season. After that loss to the Colts. All hope for a lot of people seemed lost. Seemed like there was no hope. We weren't going to be able to overcome this. Season is gone, wasted, lost. And everyone looked at each other. They picked each other up. They said, listen, we're going to go get this done. And they did. They got themselves to this position. They got 2 hard-fought road wins. And you came up just short on the road yet again.
And Lou says, and Alex, gotta go. But I'd like to say thank you again for providing the 49er fans with a place to be. I'm sure the whole Cutback crew feels the same. You guys are number one.
You guys are number one as well.
Yeah, thank you, Lou. We really do enjoy all you guys in chat. You guys have been riding with us the entire season. It's been a lot of fun. We've been having great interactions. There was times when the 49ers were bleak. The season didn't look like it was going anywhere, and we held on. Everyone held together. We just talked it out. We had great conversations, and we got here. And I think that that's part of it. That's kind of like going through the whole season together. It's a little bit of therapeutic, but it shows how many people are like-minded or how many people have differing opinions. But that when it comes down to it, everyone's 49er fans and everyone can rally behind their team.
That's all you can do, man. That's all you can do is rally behind your team. And look, it was a fun season. It was an up and down season. Not the season we want, not necessarily a satisfying conclusion, but something you can be proud of. And as Niner fans, you can hold your head up high. This team can hang their hat on this, but not be satisfied with it, and hope that they grow for this and roll with this and become better. That's all you can do. And I'll tell you what, this as tough as this is, I cannot wait to get some good laughs over on Patreon with Big Yikes, because oh my goodness gracious, are the Yikes going to be out in full force?
I'm sure they will be. I'm sure that a lot of people are hurting and a lot of people are going to put it out there on social media. I mean, that's kind of, people struggle with that. But I think I was on Twitter right after the game, and I seen a lot of perspective. People talking about, we made it this far. I'm proud of my team rallying, coming back from where they were and getting it done. I think that, now there's going to be somewhat of a transition. We're going to be thankful for what Jimmy G did for our team, but looking forward to the future of what Trey Lance can do for this team. And then what the 49ers do, beyond that. But there are some interesting questions out there. There's a reason Tom Brady didn't retire yet. He was waiting for things to happen today. I know Jay Hill put it in the chat. I'm sure Tom Brady would love to play for the 49ers, and I think that Aaron Rodgers would as well. Are the 49ers ready to roll with Trey Lance, or are they going to go with a veteran quarterback? We don't know. But all those things are going to be answered here in the near future.
A lot of questions, and there's a lot of things happening. There's a lot of things to look at, a lot of things to discuss. We got draft coverage to start prepping for. We got free agency frenzy to start prepping for. 49ers salary cap moves. What can they make to free up more money? Will it be Jimmy Garoppolo? Are there other guys? Are they going to extend some players as well to free up more cap space? What is the status in the deal with D4? Are you bringing back Raheem Mostert, Jason Verrett? I mean, there are so many names.
Yeah.
Listen, I think this is going to be an absolutely incredible offseason. Last year was kind of crazy and hectic because you try to figure out what are you going to do after the tumultuous 2020 season. Now you have 2021, again, this team, when everything's healthy and you don't have the COVID year and limited training camp and all that stuff and kind of impacting teams' performances. We got to look at this team and what you're supposed to be doing and what you could look like if you get all your pieces out there. You have a young quarterback potentially. I mean, there's a lot of things to look at. There's a lot of things to take a look at for next year, and we're going to see. We're going to see what all of this is. Season 3 of the 49ers Cutback is going to be off the chain. It's going to be off the hook, and the offseason content is going to absolutely ramp up in a big way once we get to it.
And shout out to David Harris for coming through and saying, good game, Niners. As a big Rams fan, you guys are a hell of a team.
As are you guys.
Yeah, that's the attitude. I mean, you would like to think that we would have been the same way, as gracious in victory as we would be in defeat. But way to come through. I think that this is going to be an interesting game for the Super Bowl. But yeah, you're right. Decisions for the 49ers are going to be all over the place. I think they have 33 players that are going to be under contract. Of course, they're going to want to work out an extension with Deebo Samuel. What is that extension going to look like? And will they be able to bring back some of the players that they want to bring back? That's going to be big. We don't know. Is it going to be, will they have to make a decision between like a Jason Verrett and a K'Wan Williams?
Hey, at least you're not the Saints.
True. Yeah.
Negative $80 million in the whole ant with no hope in sight. And now how are you going to get out from underneath that? Is the NFL just going to have to give them like a year exemption?
No. I mean, you just got to let it burn at this point. Yeah.
Oh, man, they might be horrible if you do that, though.
It's possible.
Holy cow. So we'll see. We're going to see what happens. Brady would get killed with Compton and Brunskill on the right side of the line, says David Campbell. The Niners have a lot of questions to answer, a lot of things to do, a lot of decisions to be made, and a lot of tough choices to be made as well about what you're going to do, how you want to completely re-scheme and not re-scheme, but kind of just reload this team and try and get yourself back in this position. Season was one to remember for years. It definitely was. Doesn't necessarily end the way you want, but the way they fought through adversity, it's something that this team can hold on to, and it's it's a huge building block heading into next year.
Yeah, it is. Let's we'll get back on that. We'll get rolling with the offseason content here pretty soon. I think it's going to be, some interesting questions for the 49ers. But, like Rob Swink said, that's my Uncle Rob there. He said that, good thing that our season never ends, Alex. We just continue to going. And 49ers cutback doesn't stop. So there's going to be a lot of stuff coming up in the future. I'm looking forward to the offseason content. I was hoping it would be delayed 2 more weeks, but to no avail. The Rams got it done, and
they did.
Now we're going to kick into it a little bit early.
You truly are, my guy. It's truly unfortunate. It truly is not the way we all hoped it was going to go. And Sayan just said there's so much hate towards Jimmy in the Niners post-game stream. I mean, not a surprise. It's been like that all season long. Yeah. It's been a little chaotic and hectic back and forth. But look, KNDR, Ant coming through with the information, the knowledge that every 49ers fans need. On the bright side, Josh Norman, no PIs.
One guy that will not be in San Francisco next year.
Josh
Norman, yeah.
It's probably accurate, Ant. That's an accurate situation. I'm a cutback, go on to the next episode. That's all we can do now is look forward. Listen, tomorrow, no content. We're going to let this kind of seep in. We're going to let this kind of just let everyone take a minute, understand what just happened. But we'll be back Tuesday with lots of content for you. Big yikes over on Patreon as well Monday night. So just be ready for that. Stay tuned for that. Lot of things to discuss, a lot of things to look at going forward. Definitely going to be changing up a little bit of the schedule because we were hoping we're going to have Super Bowl content here on the 49ers Cutback in season 2, but to no avail. That's not the case. The Rams will go on. They will be looking forward to a Super Bowl matchup with Joe Burrow, and that Evan McPherson golden leg. I mean, that's what everyone's calling him, man. They're calling him Joe Cool already.
No.
Year 2.
No, but this is a 49ers podcast.
I'm aware.
Nobody gets to be Joe Cool.
I agree with you.
No.
I agree.
11 touchdowns, no interceptions.
I agree.
Super Bowls.
I agree.
You bite your tongue.
I'm not biting I'm just telling you what everyone else is saying.
No, Joe Burrow, that's fine. No Joe Cool.
Joe Burr
is fine.
Okay.
Whatever. But no Joe Cool.
You heard it here first, 49ers Cutback crew and faithful.
And
Joe Burr.
Chicago. Thank you.
We appreciate that. We really do.
Thanks, George, as well. He said he appreciate you guys all season. Thank you, George. We appreciate all the support.
We do. We really do. I love this show. Love these guys. We're going to get it. We are. We truly are. A Cutback crew. It's not necessarily exactly what we wanted, but hey, you know what? We got each other. We got this team. What a season. Not necessarily the way we wanted it to end, but hey, at the end of the day, we're going to bounce back in a big way. We're going to bounce back in a huge way. Enjoy tomorrow. Take it to yourself. Just try and enjoy. Try and enjoy and remember the good times this year. That's all you can do. Remember the good times. Enjoy this 49ers team. Enjoy Kyle Shanahan. And we'll see you on Tuesday. See you on Tuesday with lots of great content. And if you're over on Patreon, then we'll see you tomorrow night for some big yikes in which we'll have a good laugh and try and shake this bad taste out of our mouths. All right. Yeah. Everyone have a good night. Try to enjoy it. And then I don't know what you're going to enjoy, but enjoy a night without stress at this point. And we'll see everyone again for big yikes. But yeah, this was a tough loss. It's unfortunate, but let this offseason commence. Let the 49ers build towards another chance at another Super Bowl, and we'll see what happens. Truly is unfortunate. Truly is sad. I'm proud of what the Niners did, even after this loss, taking out Dallas, taking out Green Bay. They showed grit. They showed strength. They showed that no matter what, they can still be elite. They can. You try and get this one back next year. You gotta work though. You gotta grind. We'll see what happens. But Cutback Crew, we'll catch you on Tuesday. And if you're over on Patreon, we'll catch you tomorrow night for big yikes. And until that time, stay safe. Remember, the right way is always the 49ers way.